Hello, world. Hello, Kitch. Good afternoon, good evening, depending wherever in the world you are. Um, I hope you're having a great day. And hello to everyone that's going to be watching this later on. I just want to say welcome and thanks for joining me. Now, my name is Ed Harris, and this is the Everyday Everything Vegan channel right here on Kitch. And what I like to do is present to you, my amazing viewers, opportunities to really make sure this is okay. Present opportunities for you to create really delicious plant-based dishes. All right. And with today, I wanted to share with you a delicious condiment. Right now, condiment is something that can come in really handy when you're grilling, when you're roasting. I mean, honestly, it's just something to really have, and it's really nice to have around the house. You know what I mean? You can take this when you're going on a picnic, when you're going out for lunch, whatever the case may be. But it's super simple in terms of the ingredients that's needed. But by any means, don't think that this is just some regular ketchup, mustard kind of condiment. You know what I mean? It's very complex, it's very delicious, and it looks amazing. All right. So let's jump into the ingredients of what we're going to be using. So first things first, the really big major component in this dish is the scallions. All right, so I have a bunch of scallions here. All right, we have some garlic, we have a chili, spicy, of course. We have an onion, and we have a piece of ginger, a knob of ginger. Okay, now what really makes this dish really sing is the cuts, right? The way you prep it. Now, one, you need a sharp knife. That's the first thing I'll say. All right, your knife needs to be sharp, and you need to have something like this. This is a microplane. All right, you can have one that looks like this, or you can have one that looks like this. Okay, either one works fine, right? Go with the sharper out of the two. All right. So, especially for the ginger, this is the only thing I would use. All right. If you use a knife, you can end up with chunky pieces of ginger, or you're gonna end up mincing your ginger even longer. All right, just so you can get it really fine. Because the idea here is that we're gonna cook these aromatics, right? That's what these are called. We're gonna cook these aromatics. We're gonna flash fry them, really. So basically, we're getting oil super hot, like Nova hot, volcano hot, right? We're gonna get that oil super hot, and once it's hot, we're gonna just pour it over everything, and that's it. Once the oil cools down, it's done. Super simple, super easy. Okay? Salt and pepper to finish, and we're good to go. Alrighty, so let me slide this over here a little bit down like that so you can kind of see what's going on there. Alrighty. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I put out a ton of content every week. I go live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. All right, so definitely make sure you follow me on all social media because I put out a lot of content, and it's all about helping you cook even better than you're cooking now. All right. So make sure you sign up, turn on your notifications, all that good stuff. I'm on here once a week as much as possible. And then, of course, I'm on everywhere else once a week as well. Okay. So make sure you look out for that. So let's get into the chopping. All right. Because this is one of the most important things. So, first things first, let's go with our ginger. Right. We're going to go over the bowl. All right. Now, be very careful. I would tell you, you can even put on maybe a pair of gloves. So it's like giving yourself an extra pair of skin. All right. If you have never used one of these before, I will tell you, you want to pay attention. You want to take your time. You don't want to do this fast because this is something that will gladly and easily take off your skin. All right. Okay. So this right here, we don't want, all right? Very fibrous, so we get rid of that. Everything else we keep. And that's it, all right? Next up, we're gonna go with the garlic. Just gently kind of smash it so we can crack the skins, the shells, whatever you want to call it, so we can peel it very easily. All right. Put that over there. And with the garlic, we're going to go with the microplane as well. This way, the hot oil is going to cook it super quickly, and you're not going to end up with raw garlic. Now, this scrap, I'm going to pour into my fryer, because anytime I have scraps left over, like little bits of onion, garlic, ginger, I got rid of that part of the ginger, but scallions, anything like that, chilies, I'll just throw it right into my oil. So when I'm frying, all that flavor goes into the oil. It seasons your oil, and it's just a really great thing to do and have, right? Okay, garlic and ginger is in. We're gonna put this, we'll leave that here for now. Actually, we put this over here. We don't need to microplane anything else, so we can get rid of that. We're gonna slide this down, right? So we can get a bigger, better picture of what's going on. All right, let's switch this camera up. Yes. Okay, we can do that. That works. All right, first things first, our scallions, right? Because we can eat scallions raw, we don't have to worry about when we cut it, right? And we don't want too much of the dark green, right? Because that part cooks a lot more than the white. So the dark green part, we're gonna just put to the side. Let me get my quart container. All right, this part we're not gonna use. So of course, you know, we put that away and we can use it for something else later on. But the most important part is the scallion whites, all right? Because that can withstand more heat and it doesn't oxidize as fast as the greener, darker parts of the scallion. You dig? Yes. Or according to Myron, my coach, you tracking? But I think I'm gonna change it up and be like, you cooking? You know what I mean? Yes, I like that. Because that works, you know, it goes with what I do, which is food. Right? So you cooking? We cooking? Yes, we cooking. All right. So let's slice this baby up, okay? Okay. I like to have my board so I have room to work, right? So nice thin slices, right? Really thin slices. This is why I say you need a very sharp knife. You know what I mean? It helps tremendously. If you don't know how to sharpen your knife, send me a message. I can send you a video, or you just take it to a store that allows you to sharpen your knife. You know, there are places that you can take your knife, drop it off. I don't love doing that because you have to, you know, you're putting your trust into someone. You hope they know what they're doing. So if it's a cheap knife, no big deal. But if it's an expensive knife, then I would be very, very cautious. I would bear one. Someone's at the door. Jane! Yes. The door. Thank you. So yeah, you know, when you have expensive knives, you want to be careful because, you know, it can easily get damaged. you know, and you don't want that. So, you know, I would test them out with a cheaper knife and see how they do. And then if you think they did well enough, then you can, you know, give them the big boys or the big girls. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's continue cutting this up. All right, so nice and thin. You know, and the other thing is, you know, you don't want to cut a whole bunch at once. This way you can control what you're doing and, you know, you can cut it up easily, right? Hey, Faye. It's my mom. You know what I mean? Just came by. That's a good thing about having your mom close, you know? I'm telling you, this condiment right here, you roast up some cauliflower, some broccoli, some potatoes. You put this on, game over. Game over. You know what I mean? You batter up some cauliflower. You make like some cauliflower wings or something, and you spoon up a few of these spoons over it. I'm telling you, you're gonna be singing, 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 singing. Hey, how's it going? All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we're not doing too much onions because, you know, the scallions is already kind of like an onion. I'm doing it for body. All right. So we're going to just run through it with our knife really quickly. It's another reason why you need a sharp knife. So you don't need to use the whole knife to cut into your onion like this. All right. And then we're going to just run through it very thinly. So you end up with beautiful cuts like this. You see? Right? Like super thin. Look at that. Yeah, baby. I love that in focus, out of focus situation. Woo! You know what time it is. All right. Okay, our oil is already on the fire. It's getting nice and hot. Yes, it is hot. The last thing we're going to add to this that we're prepping is our chili. Now, normally you don't need to add chili, but like I always tell you in my videos, I'm from the Caribbean and I love to keep it spicy, okay? Because that's just, you know, how we roll. And on top of that, chilies are actually very good for you. The capsicum in the chili, right, is what's healthy for you. So it helps clear out the nostrils, the sinuses, all that good stuff. It keeps your body where it needs to be. All right. So approach the chili, engage the chili. All right. Start with a little bit. And then as your body gets used to it, up the ante. Okay. All right. And if you notice, I don't know if you could see it on the camera, but my chili is very soft. And the reason it's very soft is because it just came out of the freezer. So between my mom and I and my uncles, you know, either when they travel to South America and they bring back chilies, these are from Guyana. So these are from South America. So he brought these back, gave it to my mom. My mom gave me some, and these have been in the freezer. I'm on my last batch right now. So these were in the freezer and they'll stay fresh in the freezer for months to a year, right? Until you use them up. And then I also grow Scotch bonnets and habaneros outside during the spring, summer, and fall. So when those grow, I bag them up and I put them in the freezer. And I have chilies for the entire year. During the winter, I never have to buy chilies. All right. So this is one thing I tell all my peeps, you know, when you grow stuff, you know, you got to be smart about what you're growing because now I never have to buy spicy chilies ever. You know what I mean? I haven't bought chilies in like 5 years, you know? So that's just that. And as you can tell, I'm really happy and proud about that. You know what I mean? So we're done with our cutting. We're going to put this here so you can see it, right? Our oil is nice and hot. It's smoking, which is what we want because this dish will not work if you pour cold oil into it. So you have to make sure your oil is piping hot. So if you have a thermometer, you can check your oil. If it's at 400 degrees, it's great. I wouldn't do less than that because you have to remember two things. There's no fire when you add your oil to this, right? So there's not going to be any more heat coming to it. And two, your mise en place is probably going to be ice cold or cold because you just took it out of the fridge, right? And even if it's room temperature, the minute you pour oil into it, the heat is going to reduce, the temperature is going to reduce because of the ingredients in the bowl. So your oil needs to be slightly smoking like mine is right now. Let me see if you can see it on camera. Can you see it? Not really, but I can see it. Like it's totally smoking, right? Yeah, you can see it in front of me. Yes, awesome. So you want your oil to be smoking like that because that's how you know it's gonna do the job. So a couple pinches of salt, right? We're gonna go with some fresh cracked black pepper. And then we're gonna hit this with a touch of sesame, just a touch, because this is an Asian condiment after all. So I like giving it just, a little something extra. All right. And then for the magic, you ready? Because this is the fun part. All right. Now you want to step back, make sure there are no kids close by because it might splatter, it might pop, You hear that? Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. If your oil doesn't do that, then you didn't do it properly, right? And then all we have to do is mix this up, right? And you don't want to pour all your oil at once because, like I said, everything is going to cool down and you see it stopped cooking already. Granted that it's still hot, but the temperature has dramatically dropped. So since we have a good bit of mise in here, mise en place, our aromatics, we can add just a touch more oil, right? And that's going to make sure that whatever else wasn't cooked is cooked. Now, look how beautiful this looks, right? So this is like an Asian chimichurri of sorts, but there's no acid, there's no acidity, there's no vinegar, there's no citrus in here. Can you put citrus? 100%. This is one of the cool things about the way I like to cook is that I love to experiment and do things as I go. So if you're feeling up to it and you're like, I want to see how that would taste, put some to the side, add some fresh lemon juice to it, some Meyer lemon, and see what happens. I mean, you might be pleasantly surprised, or you might not. Either way, the only way you're going to find out is after you do it, right? But this is our condiment, and you make sure to do this in either a bowl, an actual solid bowl. I won't do it in glass, bless you, but I will store it in glass afterwards, right? So once this completely cools down, I'm going to transfer it to my nifty little ball jars like this, put the lid on, and it's in the refrigerator and it's delicious. Like you go to Thailand, you go to certain places, you'll see condiments like this just sitting outside. They'll have like pickled string beans, they'll have pickled chilies, they'll have these scallions in oil, and they know what's up, right? And that's what this is. Super tasty, super delicious, really easy. And this is gonna stay just like this. You see the little red chili in there. You got the beautiful cut scallions, nice circles. You have the ginger and garlic. You see how the ginger and garlic looks is almost like a puree of sorts. That's because we use the microplane. So you definitely know it's cooked. It's nice and soft. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. All right. So I think tonight for dinner, we're going to bake some potatoes, roast them, maybe even boil them. I don't know yet. I'll see how I feel. Maybe I'll ask the kids what they want to do. And then this is what we're going to pour on top of it to eat, right? Because it's so yummy. Now, last thing before I leave, if you wanted to take this a step further, you could add a little bit soy sauce to this, right? It's going to change the color, but it's going to really bring out that Asian flavor, all right? So you don't need to add a lot. So this container, I would add like no more than a tablespoon of soy sauce, right? So 1 to 3 teaspoons, okay? So you can start with 1 teaspoon and see how it tastes. It's definitely not going to make it taste bad, but it's going to bring out more Asian flavors. This way, it's more neutral, so you can add it to more things, right? But once you add the soy sauce, then it really becomes an Asian condiment. And then, of course, you have to pick and choose what you're going to add it to, all right? That's it, people. Short and sweet, to the point, simple, but flavor packed. You know what I mean? So until next time, this is Chef Ed, your host, all right? I want to encourage you. I want to wish you nothing but amazing success. And I just want you to do what you need to do to cook really good food for your family, for yourself. Be healthy. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm on here. You can find me on all social media platforms. Like, I'm omnipresent, people. Omnipresent. Okay, so I'm everywhere. Okay, so hit me up, leave a comment, leave a message. Let me know what you need help with, if you have any questions, and I will definitely get back to you as soon as possible. All right. Happy Thursday, and I'll see you next week for another delicious recipe. I don't know what we're doing next week. Ooh, I know. I think we're going to do some hush puppies next week because it's very easy, very simple. And I've been testing out a recipe over the past couple of weeks because I've been working on a new concept for Atlanta, Georgia, which I can't wait to officially announce. So it's going to be on the menu there. So we're definitely going to do a version of that on Kitchen next week. All right. Fresh corn, because corn's in season, you know, and I'm going to get corn from the farmer's market. So you know it's going to be the bomb. All right. That's it. So I'm out.